Hello friends, Arthur here, and this is the ZSL Video Games Part 3, and we start with Planet Zebes. Zebes? I don't know, but I assume it's some kind of game from 8-bit, Nintendo. Never played, never heard of it, but it's really beautiful track. I really love this concept of change levels, changes layout through these gates. I don't know how to say it indifferently. For me, checkpoint 4, jump to checkpoint 5 was one of the hardest elements on this track, and probably the first outer pipe where you can easily fall off because of the high speed, and the jump you really need to go on the dots. If you won't be doing it and you won't have enough speed, you can easily fall off or not have enough speed to make this jump. Outset Island by Diabler and Metalted. Oh, I don't know what this game about and what it reference to. The track itself, I don't think it's really hard, but I forced to use brakes on sharp turns at the beginning. Probably you could do without it, but for me it was the main harder element. Rather than that, everything all was quite nice and feels good. Twisting Netherstorm. Okay, yet another game where I honestly don't know who it reference to. By Realmlist and Tom Bohen. Really interesting decoration, really hard one first checkpoint. Probably for me on this track I spent the most my failed attempts on basically first checkpoint, where you need to do this U-turn and you can easily crash. And then another probably hard point, it's before checkpoint 2, where you have uphill and arrow go down, so you need to be aware where you need to go, and it's slightly blind turn. And probably that's it. After that, it's quite easy track. Jump after checkpoint 3, I think it's doable, easy one, and turn through the rocket into the finish are also not really hard. The Dwelling, Spelunky 2 by Black E.T. Racer. So Spelunky, I guess it's some kind of 2D platformer. I don't know if it's old one or new one, but yeah. But track itself, I find it's quite hard, because you need not only to steer and be on the track, but also brake a lot on a lot of different places. For example, when you're doing this great uphill before checkpoint 4, you need to brake, because you can easily, with higher speed, fly over boosters, and then you won't have enough speed without this booster to jump checkpoint 4, where you also need slightly brake to not over jump the turn. So it's quite tricky one, but even with all my braking skills I still finish with faster than after time, so I believe it could be done in 55 easily. NR 2003 Walkin's Glen. I believe NR just could be NASCAR Racing 2003 version. Watkins Glen. I know this track. I love Assetto Corsa, but we're in a Zeepkist. The cool idea for this track is that you need to do 2 laps and you need to be on the road. Honestly, I try on second attempt, on second lap, slightly cut track with chicane, with all these cones. So basically you can't go left. There is an invincible wall, so be careful. You could easily crash. And I love inside this track all these new tire scraping noises, they give this so authentic feeling for this game and for this layout, so I really enjoy it and really love it. Start Castle by Round and ZT, and I believe I already played this track. It wasn't for ZSL, it was in a showcase or maybe for a Cup of the Day, I honestly don't remember, but this is track really nice, really flowy. There is no really hard speed checks, no like sharp turns, blind turns, so it's all smooth and feel nice. So I can't really say that there's any really hard elements, so you just keep maintaining your speed and steer as less as possible. But still really have a question what type of game it is. Forzeep Horizon by Tommy Gaming 5132. Well, my assumption that this is Forza Horizon, and this track have like proper wide layout on the road and through canyon cut, which I used, and I believe the After also use it. Looking on After time, the canyon is quite hard because there's rock on the place where you intuitively try to land, so you need to be like slightly from right to left jump, and it's narrow. Other than this trick, it's just pretty straightforward track. Race the Gungeon by Gearwork Dragon. Until I was preparing this video, Gearwork Dragon made some changes on the track, and honestly I didn't find anything different from old version and new version, but well, new one is here, so I use this one. As of track, I would say it's quite hard. There's a lot of hard turns, blind turns, and transition, especially transition to checkpoint 5 is very hard. When you try to like normally jump it, usually I have bounce and over jump the checkpoint, so I guess you need to use wall ride to do it. And after that you have really tricky element like driving on floor, which is not always there, so you need to like wiggle and really find the way into the finish. So for me it was quite hard, but first version was slightly faster for me. Hockolicious by Jing, and well, first of all, I believe it's really easy to find what type of the game it represents, and I would say this is really hard track, because in Trackmania you always can start from the last checkpoint and you have like engine, so you always can control your car on all elements. Here it's really hard to do because you stick to the checkpoints and boosters that on the track and you never can reset. A lot of tight corners, a lot of blind corners, a lot of really tight jumps. Checkpoint 6 is also quite annoying. If you use arms up or you can be slightly faster, you can easily hit it, and maybe it's only because of my skill I basically brake on almost each turn or before all these checkpoints. Without braking I was flying over the track and you can go back. So braking, steering and trying to figure out where you need to go, because not a lot of science here. Audiosurf by Lazy Hidna. Well, it's a very bright track, and first I didn't understand what type of the game it presents, but I could assume this some kind of Guitar Hero type of the game with all these riffs and you forced to basically press them, but in our case we're moving them. The track itself not really hard. For me there was two hard point for here. It's uphill where I don't know, is it all three are checkpoints or just left and right, and downhill where you need really avoid all obstacles in really fast speed. Rock Rock Mt by Sox242. Well, I would say this is, for my personal opinion, for my skill level, is level nightmare. Everything is fine, everything not hard, except that you need to do really sharp several turns on paraglide, which I spent like 30 minutes just to try to do it over and over again. After that, it's just yet another straightforward line with maybe, I would say, RNG balls falling off, but they're falling not so often and quite easily, so it's not a big problem. And also, I don't remember, but there's two finishes. I don't know, can you consider them as risky one and normal one? But if you know how to do paraglide, it will be very easy track. If you don't know, it will be very hard. Celeste Prologue by Parazare. I don't know what type of the game it is, honestly. Like Celeste Prologue, as of track, science was so distracting. I honestly don't know what they should give you, or does they here for the real game, or it's for the Zeepkist, because it's not give you a lot, especially on the track. Track itself are not really hard. The only thing that could be quite hard, it's at the beginning RNG rocks falling off. Without it, it's quite easy, straightforward track. Downhill Jam by Schmagr and St. Nicholas. Usually I love such type of tracks where you need to find your way. There's multiple passes where you can do a lot of different stuff and take this track in different directions, in different lines. So it's quite fun, and it will be really interesting to see other results and other people who can find the best line. I believe my wasn't so efficient, and it's definitely way better line and faster line to finish this track. So really interesting track. Animal Crashing by Runic Raptor. Really bright, interesting track. Completely not hard because, well, surprisingly, I finished it from my first attempt. Maybe at some elements I was slightly lucky, but, well, overall, it's not really hard. I would say checkpoint 4, 5 and 6, I believe. The line where they are could consider as hard because you need to change your trajectory a lot, and sometimes it's quite sharp to do so, but rather than that, it's pretty easy, fun track. Sky Meadow by Maki and Lexer. Please let me know in the comment what game it is. Is it really like Sky Meadow or it's some kind of Mario part? But as of track, it could be medium track or hard track, depending on what line you choose, green or red. For me, the main pain point on the green line was jump from checkpoint 3 to checkpoint 4 with correct line, where you need to land quite early on the platform to have enough time to steer, and then near checkpoint 5, same thing, that you need to land on the road earlier to avoid all this bump on the track. And I believe everything on this track is all about this, where you need to land earlier or right spot to do this track, and I think that you can't achieve after medal without using the red track. So yeah, quite challenging for medium hard track. Mortal Zeepkist by IOI, and I know I already showed this track, but it have small changes. Honestly, I don't know does IOI did it after my video or after another feedbacks, but basically he just add poles at the end, like that you now can't cut finish as I did on my previous video. So you forced to go on the track, and if you go to the track you need to avoid like Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and it gives a slightly harder element for this track. Okay guys, thanks for watching part 3 of ZSL video games track review. Hope you love it. I didn't figure it out all the games, so please let me know, or if I made mistakes and call game wrongly. I really want to know, because it's fun to guess, it's fun to know a little bit more. So thanks for watching, thanks for likes, for your comments, and see you next time. Bye.